Today our lecture shall be on the embryological evidences in favor of evolution. This is the first lecture on the embryological evidences in favor of evolution. Now the evidences which come from the field of embryology in favor of evolution are known as the embryological evidences in favor of evolution. The embryological evidences can be studied under the headings. In the first lecture, we shall be discussing the three headings regarding the embryological evidences in favor of evolution. The first point over here is the similarity in the embryonic development of all sexually reproducing animals. We see that all sexually reproducing animals start their life from the zygote, which is formed by the fusion of sperm and ovum, and then the zygote forms the morula, then morula forms the blastula, and blastula forms the gastrula, and gastrula forms the neurula. This is not seen in any one sexually reproducing animal, but is found in all sexually reproducing animals. It points towards the fact that all sexually reproducing animals have basically evolved from the common ancestor. That is why during their embryonic development they follow the same pattern of development from zygote to the neurula. Now the second point is the homology in early embryos of vertebrates. Over here are the diagrams of the over here are the diagrams of some of the human embryos. This is the embryo of fish, this is of the amphibian salamander, this is of the reptile lizard, this too is of the reptile tortoise, this is of a bird, and this is of the human being, that is of the mammal. Now we see that it becomes very difficult in the early stages, rather it is impossible to distinguish between these embryos, means that we cannot say that this is of the fish and this is of the bird or this of the mammal in the early embryonic stages. The differences develop in the later embryonic stages. So why there is so much similarity in the early embryonic stages of all the animals, from fishes up to the mammals? It also points towards the fact that the ancient past they might have the common ancestor, or they might have evolved from the same ancestor. Then the third point is the biogenetic law. Biogenetic law was given by Haeckel. It is stated as ontogeny repeats phylogeny. Now, ontogeny is the developmental history of an organism. It means those events which occur in the development of an organism are known as the ontogeny, whereas the phylogeny is the developmental history of a race. It means the developmental events which have occurred throughout the evolution of a species or of the race. Now, this says that during the development of an organism, it repeats the characters of its ancestors. That is what we call as biogenetic law, or ontogeny repeats phylogeny. This can be simply understood by an example. Human heart is four chambered, but when it develops inside our body during our embryonic stages, first it doesn't become altogether four chambered. First it becomes two chambered, then three chambered, and then ultimately four chambered. It points towards the fact that we in our development, that's in our ontogeny, repeat the characters of our ancestors, that's the phylogeny. So it means that humans are all the mammals, because all mammals have four chambered heart, have developed in the remote past from two chambered animals, which have developed two chambered animals having two chambered heart, which have evolved into animals having three chambered heart, and which have ultimately evolved into the animals having four chambered heart. The next lecture, in the next lecture, we shall continue with the embryological evidences.